Hey guys, I know this wasn't really a video you were really expecting, but recently I have had this hyperfixation with the September 11th attacks, more commonly known as simply 9/11. And I just really wanted to show my deepest condolences and just give my heart out to everybody who lost their life and those who are still personally affected by it. And this video is basically just going to be going over what happened that day and all the details that most people don't know about, because schools won't teach what happened that day, and it makes me mad that most of Gen Alpha and Gen Z don't know what really happened that day, not even the basics. So let's get into it. The first plane was known as American Flight 11. Its original route was from Boston Logan, Massachusetts to Los Angeles, California. It contained 81 passengers, 5 of which were the hijackers, and 11 flight crew. The hijackers were Mohammed Atta, Abdulaziz Al-Omari, Wael Al-Sherhi, Walid Al-Sherhi, those two were brothers, and Satan Al-Sukami. The second plane was known as United Airlines Flight 175. It was also on a route from Boston Logan, Massachusetts to Los Angeles in California. It had a total of 56 passengers, 5 of which were the hijackers, and 9 flight crew. The hijackers were Marwan Al-Shehi, Fayez Bani Hamad, Hamza Al-Ghamdi, Ahmed Al-Ghamdi, those two were brothers, and Mohand Al-Shehri. The third plane was known as American Airlines Flight 77. Its original route was from Dulles, Washington to Los Angeles, California. It contained a total of 58 passengers, 5 of which were the hijackers, and 6 flight crew. The hijackers were Hani Hanjour, Nawaf Al-Hazmi, Salem Al-Hazmi, those two were brothers, Majed Moqued, and Khalid Al-Midhar. The fourth and final plane was known as United Airlines Flight 93. Its original flight path was from Newark, New Jersey to San Francisco, California. It carried 33 passengers, 4 of which were the hijackers, and 7 flight crew. The hijackers were Ziad Jarrah, Saeed Al-Ghamdi, Ahmed Al-Nami, and Ahmed Al-Haznawi. American Airlines Flight 11 crashed into the North Tower of the World Trade Center at 8:46 a.m., going at 466 miles per hour. Its immediate impact zone was from floors 93 to 99. American Airlines Flight 175 crashed into the South Tower of the World Trade Center at 9:03 a.m., going at 590 miles per hour. Its immediate impact zone was from floors 77 to 85. United Airlines Flight 77 crashed into the west side of the Pentagon at 9:37 a.m., going at 530 miles per hour. The immediate impact zone was the western side of the building, specifically at the junction of the newly renovated Wedge 1 and the older Wedge 2. It hit the first floor and penetrated through the outer E-ring and into the inner rings of the structure. American Airlines Flight 93 crashed into a field in Stony Creek Township, Somerset County, going at 563 miles per hour. If any of these planes had gone just slightly faster, the plane would have started to break up due to the sheer speed of which the plane would be going. The South Tower of the World Trade Center collapsed at 9:59 a.m., 56 minutes after the plane hit it. Have a listen.
All right, take one and 2, 1. This is as close as we can get to the base of the World Trade Center. You can see the 2 towers. Debris continues to fall and to rain on the people below. There are people hanging from the windows 90 stories up, and a number of bodies have actually hit the pavement. Take 2. Take 2 and 2, 1. This is as close as we can get to the base of the World Trade Center. You can see the firemen assembled here, the police officers, FBI agents, and you can see the 2 towers. A huge explosion now, raining debris on all of us.
The North Tower of the World Trade Center collapsed at 10:28 a.m., an hour and 42 minutes after the plane hit it. Have a listen.
What? It's gonna what? I don't know.
The order to ground all civilian planes was issued by the FAA at 9:42 a.m., just 6 minutes after the third plane hit the Pentagon. This was followed by an official order at 9:45 a.m. to shut down the entire U.S. airspace, forcing all aircraft to land as soon as possible. By 10:39 a.m., the FAA had issued a notice to airmen closing all airports in the United States. Later at 11:06 a.m., the FAA issued Advisory 036, which suspended operations across the entire national airspace system. Just before 9 a.m., President Bush was informed that a small propeller plane had crashed into the World Trade Center, leading him to believe it must have been an accident. At 9:05 a.m., Andrew Card informed President Bush that, quote, "A second plane hit the second tower. America is under attack." At 8:30 p.m., President Bush addressed the country about what happened. Have a listen.
Good evening. Today, our fellow citizens, our way of life, our very freedom came under attack in a series of deliberate and deadly terrorist acts. The victims were in airplanes or in their offices. Secretaries, businessmen and women, military and federal workers, moms and dads, friends and neighbors. Thousands of lives were suddenly ended by evil, despicable acts of terror. The pictures of airplanes flying into buildings, fires burning, huge structures collapsing, have filled us with disbelief, terrible sadness, and a quiet, unyielding anger. These acts of mass murder were intended to frighten our nation into chaos and retreat. But they have failed. Our country is strong. A great people has been moved to defend a great nation. Terrorist attacks can shake the foundations of our biggest buildings, but they cannot touch the foundation of America. These acts shattered steel, but they cannot dent the steel of American resolve. America was targeted for attack because we're the brightest beacon for freedom and opportunity in the world, and no one will keep that light from shining. Today, our nation saw evil, the very worst of human nature, and we responded with the best of America, with the daring of our rescue workers, with the caring for strangers and neighbors who came to give blood and help in any way they could. Immediately following the first attack, I implemented our government's emergency response plans. Our military is powerful, and it's prepared. Our emergency teams are working in New York City and Washington, D.C. to help with local rescue efforts. Our first priority is to get help to those who have been injured and to take every precaution to protect our citizens at home and around the world from further attacks. The functions of our government continue without interruption. Federal agencies in Washington, which had to be evacuated today, are reopening for essential personnel tonight and will be open for business tomorrow. Our financial institutions remain strong, and the American economy will be open for business as well. The search is underway for those who are behind these evil acts. I've directed the full resources of our intelligence and law enforcement communities to find those responsible and to bring them to justice. We will make no distinction between the terrorists who committed these acts and those who harbor them. I appreciate so very much the members of Congress who have joined me in strongly condemning these attacks. And on behalf of the American people, I thank the many world leaders who have called to offer their condolences and assistance. America and our friends and allies join with all those who want peace and security in the world, and we stand together to win the war against terrorism. Tonight I ask for your prayers for all those who grieve, for the children whose worlds have been shattered, for all whose sense of safety and security has been threatened. And I pray they will be comforted by a power greater than any of us, spoken through the ages in Psalm 23. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil, for you are with me. This is a day when all Americans from every walk of life unite in our resolve for justice and peace. America has stood down enemies before, and we will do so this time. None of us will ever forget this day, yet we go forward to defend freedom and all that is good and just in our world. Thank you. Good night, and God bless America.
Some people asked, did the people on the planes experience a painful death? The answer to that question is no. Their death was immediate and painless. There were only a few on the planes who were injured by the hijackers, and those were the only people who were in pain during their death. Although their death was immediate, they were still in pain before that. The 9/11 attacks were orchestrated by the Islamist extremist network Al-Qaeda, led by Osama bin Laden, primarily due to their opposition to American foreign policy and military presence in the Middle East. The attacks were intended to punish the U.S. for its actions, deter future interventions, and provoke the U.S. into a broader war that Al-Qaeda hoped would unite the Muslim world. On September 20th, President Bush addresses a joint session of Congress, demanding the Taliban hand over Al-Qaeda and declaring the global war on terror. On October 7th, military action begins in Afghanistan with airstrikes against Al-Qaeda and Taliban targets. At approximately 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on May 1st, 2011, Osama bin Laden was shot multiple times, proving to be fatal, nearly a decade after the attacks. At 11:35 p.m. of May 1st, 2011, Washington, D.C. time, President Obama announced the death of Osama bin Laden. Have a listen.
Good evening. Tonight, I can report to the American people and to the world that the United States has conducted an operation that killed Osama bin Laden, the leader of Al-Qaeda, and a terrorist who's responsible for the murder of thousands of innocent men, women, and children. It was nearly 10 years ago that a bright September day was darkened by the worst attack on the American people in our history. The images of 9/11 are seared into our national memory. Hijacked planes cutting through a cloudless September sky, the Twin Towers collapsing to the ground, black smoke billowing up from the Pentagon, the wreckage of Flight 93 in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, where the actions of heroic citizens saved even more heartbreak and destruction. And yet we know that the worst images are those that were unseen to the world. The empty seat at the dinner table, children who were forced to grow up without their mother or their father, parents who would never know the feeling of their child's embrace, nearly 3,000 citizens taken from us, leaving a gaping hole in our hearts. On September 11th, 2001, in our time of grief, the American people came together. We offered our neighbors a hand, and we offered the wounded our blood. We reaffirmed our ties to each other and our love of community and country. On that day, no matter where we came from, what God we prayed to, or what race or ethnicity we were, we were united as one American family. We were also united in our resolve to protect our nation and to bring those who committed this vicious attack to justice. We quickly learned that the 9/11 attacks were carried out by Al-Qaeda, an organization headed by Osama bin Laden, which had openly declared war on the United States and was committed to killing innocents in our country and around the globe. And so we went to war against Al-Qaeda to protect our citizens, our friends, and our allies. Over the last 10 years, thanks to the tireless and heroic work of our military and our counterterrorism professionals, we've made great strides in that effort. We've disrupted terrorist attacks and strengthened our homeland defense. In Afghanistan, we removed the Taliban government, which had given bin Laden and al-Qaeda safe haven and support. And around the globe, we worked with our friends and allies to capture or kill scores of al-Qaeda terrorists, including several who were a part of the 9/11 plot. Yet, Osama bin Laden avoided capture and escaped across the Afghan border into Pakistan. Meanwhile, al-Qaeda continued to operate from along that border and operate through its affiliates across the world. And so shortly after taking office, I directed Leon Panetta, the director of the CIA, to make the killing or capture of bin Laden the top priority of our war against al-Qaeda, even as we continued our broader efforts to disrupt, dismantle, and defeat his network. Then, last August, after years of painstaking work by our intelligence community, I was briefed on a possible lead to bin Laden. It was far from certain, and it took many months to run this thread to ground. I met repeatedly with my national security team as we developed more information about the possibility that we had located bin Laden hiding within a compound deep inside Pakistan. And finally, last week, I determined that we had enough intelligence to take action and authorized an operation to get Osama bin Laden and bring him to justice. Today, at my direction, the United States launched a targeted operation against that compound in Abbottabad, Pakistan. A small team of Americans carried out the operation with extraordinary courage and capability. No Americans were harmed. They took care to avoid civilian casualties. After a firefight, they killed Osama bin Laden and took custody of his body. For over 2 decades, bin Laden has been al-Qaeda's leader and symbol, and has continued to plot attacks against our country and our friends and allies. The death of bin Laden marks the most significant achievement to date in our nation's effort to defeat al-Qaeda. Yet his death does not mark the end of our effort. There is no doubt that al-Qaeda will continue to pursue attacks against us. We must, and we will, remain vigilant at home and abroad. As we do, we must also reaffirm that the United States is not and never will be at war with Islam. I've made clear, just as President Bush did shortly after 9/11, that our war is not against Islam. Bin Laden was not a Muslim leader. He was a mass murderer of Muslims. Indeed, al-Qaeda has slaughtered scores of Muslims in many countries, including our own. So his demise should be welcomed by all who believe in peace and human dignity. Over the years, I've repeatedly made clear that we would take action within Pakistan if we knew where bin Laden was. That is what we've done. But it's important to note that our counterterrorism cooperation with Pakistan helped lead us to bin Laden and the compound where he was hiding. Indeed, bin Laden had declared war against Pakistan as well and ordered attacks against the Pakistani people. Tonight, I called President Zardari, and my team has also spoken with their Pakistani counterparts. They agree that this is a good and historic day for both of our nations. And going forward, it is essential that Pakistan continue to join us in the fight against al-Qaeda and its affiliates. The American people did not choose this fight. It came to our shores and started with the senseless slaughter of our citizens. After nearly 10 years of service, struggle, and sacrifice, we know well the costs of war. These efforts weigh on me every time I, as Commander-in-Chief, have to sign a letter to a family that has lost a loved one, or look into the eyes of a service member who's been gravely wounded. So Americans understand the costs of war. Yet, as a country, we will never tolerate our security being threatened, nor stand idly by when our people have been killed. We will be relentless in defense of our citizens and our friends and allies. We will be true to the values that make us who we are. And on nights like this one, we can say to those families who have lost loved ones to al-Qaeda's terror, justice has been done. Tonight, we give thanks to the countless intelligence and counterterrorism professionals who've worked tirelessly to achieve this outcome. The American people do not see their work nor know their names, but tonight they feel the satisfaction of their work and the result of their pursuit of justice. We give thanks for the men who carried out this operation, for they exemplify the professionalism, patriotism, and unparalleled courage of those who serve our country. And they are part of a generation that has borne the heaviest share of the burden since that September day. Finally, let me say to the families who lost loved ones on 9/11 that we have never forgotten your loss, nor wavered in our commitment to see that we do whatever it takes to prevent another attack on our shores. And tonight, let us think back to the sense of unity that prevailed on 9/11. I know that it has at times frayed, yet today's achievement is a testament to the greatness of our country and the determination of the American people. The cause of securing our country is not complete, but tonight we are once again reminded that America can do whatever we set our mind to. That is the story of our history. Whether it's the pursuit of prosperity for our people or the struggle for equality for all our citizens, our commitment to stand up for our values abroad, and our sacrifices to make the world a safer place. Let us remember that we can do these things not just because of wealth or power, but because of who we are. One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. May God bless you. And may God bless the United States of America.
In New York City on September 11th, 2001, a total of 2,753 people died, with the majority being at the World Trade Center site. This figure includes 343 firefighters, 23 New York City police officers, 37 Port Authority police officers, and over 2,200 other civilians. In Arlington, Virginia, on September 11th, 2001, a total of 184 people died, 125 in the building, and 64 victims on the plane. Due to the heroic efforts of the flight attendants and passengers of the fourth plane, no other lives were lost besides those on the plane. And that's it for today. These are just the basic details of what happened that day. If you want to know more, comment any questions you have and I'll answer. I ask you to please share this video with your friends and family. Not for me, not for my views, or my channel. I ask you to share this video so that people can know what happened that day. Please spread the information. The wound of 9/11 is still fresh in the world, and people are already starting to forget about it. Those who were killed that day and the days afterwards from the attacks, and the family members and friends of people who died, deserve better than a stupid generation that doesn't even know the basics of what happened that day. Please help this generation in learning what happened on 9/11.